This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Friends, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a podcast in your community. Well, we got trouble, listener, right here in Salt Lake City, with a capital T that rhymes with B that stands for Baconsale.
Yeah! So not exactly singing.
I told you.
You got
That's
me.
good, though.
Yeah.
I was really happy.
Thank you. Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, the one where we talk about TV.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, we didn't. I was going to say we had a lot of new shows that we were able to talk about.
Yeah, no repeat answers.
That was kind of. Yeah, it was tricky, but we got through it. I think we had a great time. Braden, thanks for coming. That was great.
Honestly.
And very, very popular episode art. So good job there, Ken.
Somehow, because it was like
lot of
last
people.
minute, like, do you guys like this? I'm not sure about this. But then apparently the listener did.
Just a little golf clap to you, Kent.
Oh,
Good job.
thank you.
On the NDR. Also, I loved this call out on Instagram from Crumpy Lady who said that her husband wants you to know that the end credits were tier 1, and I agree. If you haven't listened through to the entire episode, just like, go to the end and listen to the end part once the music starts playing.
It was a little behind the scenes stuff. You get a little peek behind the curtain.
It was a lot because we did an uncut episode you can listen to on patreon.com/Baconsale.
Exactly.
And you can hear everything, but there was a spider that attacked us in the bacon cave.
It
and
didn't
that
attack us.
It kind of did. I was
had
screaming.
to play dad in the room.
And you missed it. You didn't even kill it.
I know. Get away. It's still in here somewhere.
Yeah. And then on Twitter, Kendall Eliason said, let me get this straight. The guy whom we believe is a hipster and a movie snob is really a slack-jawed yokel who watches gutter trash soaps and reality shows?
I think that's hipster because it's a canceled soap opera from the 90s.
Oh,
Back then, it wasn't hipster.
Okay.
After years had passed.
How about that?
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it.
But it was a fun show.
It was.
It was really fun.
And we also, I was going to say, just briefly mention, we had our dinner with the Bacon Council recently.
Yeah.
Which was a good time with them. We got together, spoke to each other, saw each other, ate food together. It was a good time. It
was lovely.
And I was going to say, there's a lot of fun stuff going on over at patreon.com/Baconsale where you can support Baconsale.
Your Subway song
Is
is
now
released as a single.
Early single. You can actually see almost all the songs I've ever done here on Baconsale are there. I shouldn't say that because I've done a lot. But
A lot.
But there's a lot of them on there. And they have little tags so you can click song and see all the songs that were there. Or
So good.
Behind the Bacon and see all the Behind the Bacon stuff.
And that is an interesting thing you bring up. Some people may not even know. If you signed up for Patreon today, if you never signed up before, if you signed up today, you get all of our backlog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything that has been posted on Patreon, as long as that has existed for Baconsale, you now have access to.
There you go. There's our Patreon plug.
Yeah, there you go.
It just dovetailed into that.
And we probably should do a contest at some point.
Yeah, we should. Too.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
Oh, we're talking about musicals.
I was waiting for the K in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Musicals. You mean like we're talking about plays?
We're talking about musical movies, specifically those that started on the stage and moved over to the big screen.
That's right. We're going to be tiering movie musicals today, and we're just going to call them movies or musicals. Musicals is too much. But these are stage-to-screen
that's a lot.
adaptations, meaning it was on a stage at some point, and then it became a movie. We're not doing ones that were specifically musicals just made for movies, nor are we doing ones that were movies that then became plays.
Look, we're only doing 18 selections here. So what I'm trying to say to you right now is just you wait, because we're doing more stage to screen later, and then we're doing maybe screen to stage.
And maybe just screen.
Like mind blown, we're not talking about Singing in the Rain today.
Because we found out Singing in the Rain was specifically made for the screen.
Yes.
And then it became a play.
But we will get to some of your favorites if we don't cover them in this episode. We're sorry. We did a random selection from a bigger list. We'll see how it goes.
We did. We had a list of about 40-something that we were still building on, and then we narrowed it down to these 18. So we can do...
Mostly arbitrarily.
So easily divisible by 3, so we can do 6 tier 1s, meaning the highest rating.
Right.
6 tier 2s being the middle, and 6 tier 3s being the lowest.
Zach, how do you feel about musicals?
I'm a fan. But you know what's funny? I have seen fewer movie musicals than both of you.
That was the... We put together the spreadsheet, and we checked off all the ones we'd seen. And it was funny because Zach, you came in and I was like, I thought he was like the musical guy.
Yeah, I've seen
you're
substantially
in them.
fewer.
You have a decent voice.
Yeah, I try.
Decent voice.
Right.
But I'm
Tony
also,
Award winning.
Keep him humble.
I'm mostly fun.
Not the award Tony. I mean actually Tony Toscano.
What up? My name's Tony. You want to be in my Joe? No, I'm a big fan of musicals. I did grow up watching them, and then I've been able to participate in some. But one thing that's interesting is the ones that I watched, kind of watched on repeat. I like musicals a whole lot, but yeah, I am less experienced in movies than you guys. Thought that was fun.
Well, and one of the things I find most interesting, Ken, is many people see you as kind of the dark, hipster, gritty guy. You
love soap operas.
Well,
sure.
Yeah. But I mean, you like movies that are like, Fight Club and Seven. And
no, I like grim endings.
And then
you're
like, I loved the ending of Seven and Man of La Mancha.
No, if I get on stage and I am not a singer, I will sing Don Quixote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you like musicals.
I try to act like I don't like them, but I like them.
I think the musicals honestly fall into the same brain space as like a Fast and the Furious or like a popcorn superhero movie.
Ooh,
because it's like
that's kind of a slam against musicals, though.
Well, it's
Are you
the
saying because it has a formula where everyone knows a dance, for example?
Yeah.
Well, there's like a love song.
There's a certain suspension
when
of disbelief.
someone starts singing on the screen, I know a lot of people who are like, "This is fake." Like their brain just goes, "That's not right." People don't do that,
right? Yeah.
But there is, like you said, there's
so they might as well be punching a torpedo, being chased by a submarine at that point, and singing about it.
So that's one of the rules of theater: is if you have a character whose emotions become too big for just saying something, then they need to sing, and if those emotions become too big, then they need to dance. So the same thing is if your emotions become too big for your barbecue, then you need to punch a torpedo. Then you go to space.
I feel like we should install that new rule for Baconsale, whereas if we get angry at each other, we do have to sing. We have to sing our anger out.
You're wrong. Why did you make that choice?
Okay.
So for me, like musicals, it probably should be no surprise that I love musicals.
Of course you do.
But only certain ones. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, Zach, you're kind of right in that I had my handful that I watched a lot over and over again.
Yeah.
I had my ones that I was in or friends were in that I went to go see.
Which definitely alters your opinion.
Totally does. I'm biased on some of these because of that.
And you have your kids watch musicals like every Sunday,
and
right?
during the quarantine, we weren't able to go anywhere for a while. And so I did Song and Dance Sunday, which was every Sunday I'd pick a classical musical and then show it to my kids. Some liked it, some didn't.
Okay.
But we had a great time, and I crossed off a lot of classical ones. And then I did all the ones I'd seen, and then I started expanding into further ones. I found that some of them, classical ones that I hadn't seen before, maybe aren't as good as everyone's hyping them up to be.
Okay, so we have 18 movies to get through.
18 movies.
Let's hop through these.
We have decided as we go through this, we have our arbitrary list, which is just a slice of life as far as musicals go. We are going to go in chronological order, starting with the oldest.
The oldest on our list.
Oldest on our list,
Yes.
not the ever, though this one has a dog in that fight. So yes, we're going to start there. Let's go with, from 1955, Oklahoma!
Okay.
Exclamation point.
Okay. L-A, H-O-M-A.
Like Mother. Is it like Mother?
Mother! Oklahoma!
So the original Broadway run of Oklahoma was 1943 to 1948, 2,212 performances. So this ended well before the movie came out.
Which came out in 1955.
Hugely popular.
Yes.
If you don't know the story, in Oklahoma, that's where it takes place, several farmers, cowboys, and a traveling salesman compete for the romantic favors of various local ladies.
I just basically think of it as like the ratio is off. There's more men than women.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
seems
story
like
for
that.
me. Yeah.
Well, in Oklahoma, that's how it is.
Yeah. Oh, what?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, keep me out of there.
And it's before Oklahoma is a state, still just a territory.
This is one where I did have friends that were in Oklahoma in a play, and I saw it, and I appreciate my friends, and I enjoyed it, but I was not in the play, so I hope to think I'm not biased by my opinion on this. By the way, it's 1955, but I looked, and this has the lowest box office of any movie we talk about. Not
Really?
adjusted for inflation.
Okay.
But it definitely had a budget.
It feels more epic.
It does. But this had a budget, and this is back in 1955, mind you, a budget of $6.8 million, and the box office only came back with $7.1 million.
Oh, wow.
So slim margin there.
I loved that they used for most of the scenes, and I say that not really knowing, but the actual outdoors.
Yeah.
Like it didn't just feel like, oh, hey, there's a screen of nature behind everyone
Except it's
on a
a
soundstage.
lie.
What's a lie?
It's not Oklahoma.
Oh, no.
This place should be called Arizona.
Is it all filmed in Arizona?
Mostly all the outdoor stuff. A lot of the outdoor stuff was filmed in Arizona, and then they have the soundstage in California. Nothing was filmed in Oklahoma. Nothing.
A-R-I... Yep, I spelled it. I forgot. I spelled Arizona.
Exclamation point.
I was in
Arizona.
This felt like it could work really, because I haven't seen it on stage. Felt like it could work really well on stage and on screen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
like because they use the sets well. Like for example, they're at the train station. All of a sudden, there's a random like tap dance number. right? Which works.
Yeah.
That honestly works really well for me. I love me a good surprise tap number.
Of course.
It's I will try and remember.
I mean,
all the
cowboy
ones
step dancing, it's fine.
I need it in my life. My last name's Wester.
You put taps on boots, right?
They're called spurs, Joel.
No, that's like they jingle.
kidding.
They don't tap.
That's back taps.
Yeah.
No, it was weird. This show has like they'll sing the song and then they have the ballet version, which is like they sing the song and now we have to do the dance after.
Yeah.
But this musical is super important because it's considered the first book musical, meaning it was the first. You have your Gilbert and Sullivan, which is like an operetta. They sing the whole time. This is the first time where it's like, we're going to have a story that has a beginning and an end, and the songs contribute to that story for the most part, and the dances contribute for the most part. And this created basically the modern musical. And this was the first time that Rodgers and Hammerstein got together. That's Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II. This is their first time collaborating, and they went on to have great success.
Yeah.
And multiple movies on this list.
I remember liking this movie more. Like I said, with the play, my friends were in it. I enjoyed it. Watching it with my kids, I was like, okay, there's a couple plot points I didn't really remember, and some of the musical numbers go on a little long. Like, just keep going for a bit. And I'm like, yeah, you can dance. We get it. But I still like it, so I'm going to give this a tier 2. It's right in the middle for me.
I think this is important. So, I'm going to give it credit for that. But I did find a fun fact about this one. The actress who played Ado Annie, Gloria Graham, she was tone deaf. And so her singing had to be literally spliced together almost note for note.
Like Charlie Brown Kids.
And it's not even that good. Also, this is Shirley Jones' film debut.
Yeah, although she was in the play before she was in this. A lot. Yeah. We're going to see that a lot, where they were in the stage production, and then so they carry over into the film, some people.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
I personally think the best song is Oh, What a Beautiful Morning, which is the very first song.
Although I always get a little into chicks and ducks and geese better scurry, because they got the story with the fringe on top.
You mentioned this is, a lot of these are long. Joel, this is 3/5 of a Snyder Cut long.
At 145 minutes.
Is that a unit of measurement?
3/5 of a Snyder Cut.
So a perfect measurement. Okay, thank you.
Which Snyder Cut is 4 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, so this is 145 minutes long. So.
You would.
And I also
an hour and a half.
I also give it a tier 2.
Okay, I'm
Tier
giving
2.
this a tier 1.
Oh,
it is an absolute classic. We wouldn't have musicals without it, and I enjoyed watching it again.
Okay,
all right. Now we're going to move to 1961's West Side Story. Did you know Natalie Wood couldn't snap her fingers, so her finger snapping had to be dubbed?
What?
A lot of actors are dubbed. I didn't know the finger snapping, but I know a lot of actors singing voices. It's not them.
Almost exclusively dubbed at this era.
West Side Story was on Broadway from 1957 to 1959, 732 performances, so significantly less than Oklahoma. But it did have a lot of revivals after that. It's Romeo and Juliet. It's these two youngsters from opposite sides of the tracks falling in love with each other, but it's set in New York City.
It's Dance Fighters, the movie.
Sharks and jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my issue with this movie, is that it is a Best Picture winner.
Yes.
It is regarded as one of the greatest musicals of all time.
According to Zack.
But every time they start dancing, I'm pulled out of the movie, and I had to don't laugh. It's supposed to be good. Oh my gosh, this is the worst fight ever because they're dancing.
That's literally only in the first scene.
It happens a couple times.
But it's egregious only in the first scene.
But did it deserve 11 Academy Awards? Well, it was nominated for 11 Academy Awards. It won 10. 10 Academy Awards for West Side Story. It was the highest grossing film of 1961, beating out The Parent Trap and 101 Dalmatians, I might add.
Yeah, it should have.
Yeah,
it should have. Because this is one of Michael Bay's favorite movies.
Well, obviously.
Bringing it into that, huh?
21 out of 43 people found that interesting.
One thing I did find interesting, though, that they have two directors on this.
Yes.
You got Jerome Robbins. He choreographed dances and things like that. He did all the musical stuff. And then Robert Wise, who did Run Silent, Run Deep, I think, and Sound of Music, did that as well.
Yeah.
But he did the kind of the more gritty acting parts, which gave it this kind of cool balance of it's a drama. Now it's a musical.
It's a bit heavier for a musical.
Robert Wise also did the first Star Trek movie.
Oh, yeah, he did. That's right.
Okay.
And Andromeda Strain.
Well, and the funny thing was, Jerome Robbins actually...
So entertaining.
He was directing for the first little bit, but then it was over budget. It was over schedule.
Yeah.
So they finally just went, okay, get off, and we'll let Robert Wise finish it up.
But he probably still got the best director.
Well, Robert Wise actually said, no, he deserves some credit. So
okay. Some credit.
Good for them. Yeah. Elvis Presley was actually he was approached to be Tony, the main role in there. But his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, said, nope, Elvis doesn't want to do that. Well, they were looking for the lead role, and they were actually considering Warren Beatty as one of the lead roles. So they were watching this movie he was doing called Splendor in the Grass. They were watching reels of it, and they saw this girl in there, and they're like, who's that? And it was Natalie Wood.
Oh, nice.
She didn't even audition for this. They saw her and went, she is Maria.
Wow.
And pulled her into this.
With songs like Tonight, America, Somewhere, Maria, This is a tier 1 musical.
I feel pretty.
Yeah, I feel pretty. Yeah, you do feel pretty.
I want to live in America.
This is a tier 1 musical. Some of the script is a bit old, a bit dated.
Yeah.
But
G, Officer Krupke.
It's still great.
I'm giving it a tier 2.
Wow. Saving your tier 1s.
I am, and I feel bad with this one because, once again, this is one where I know a lot of people love this movie. I like it. I think it's a clever adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
Is it because of the way it ends? Like, does it make you sad? Does it have to be a mood musical?
No, I mean, Romeo and Juliet doesn't end too happy either. I feel like that. But this is, it's the acting and the choreography kind of just felt very dated. And the story dragged on a little long because this is 152 minutes, Zach, which is...
This is 5/8 of a Snyder Cut.
I think this is a classical music, and maybe it is because it won Best Picture, and I'm kind of like, really? And so I give this a tier 2.
Don't you see like friends coming down the hallway and then you look at each other and then all of a sudden you get real low? And yeah. And that's tier 1. Tier 1 just for that.
This has definitely embedded itself in our culture.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what Steven Spielberg's adaptation is going to be like here in a bit. Yeah. If it's going to be as
more serious, classic. But probably not much to add.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Probably.
Zach, did you give your tier yet?
Nope.
He's waiting.
Tier 1! This is my highest tier 1 on my entire list. This is probably my favorite show. I love it so much, and I could go on for a long, long time. I'll tell you.
But you're not going to, or you?
I'll do a little bit. I think the best song in this show is the Tonight Quintet. That is where they're singing the song Tonight, but everybody else is interjecting their part of it, right? You got the Jets are talking about the rumble, the Sharks are getting ready for the run.
One day more.
Yeah, pretty much. Anita's going to get ready for what she's about to do, which is spicy. And then the lovers are being lovers.
And Jimmy's friends are talking about zero population.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point.
Exactly.
I remember.
Yeah. The worst song is I Feel Pretty.
No.
Yep.
I love that song.
You can't be trusted. So if you're judging this musical based on the...
I can't be trusted?
You're judging this musical based on the opening number and I Feel Pretty. No wonder you don't like it.
No, I love I Feel Pretty.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Hey, if you're going to show that kind of aggression, sing it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm about to. No, this is a musical that it's important to me. It means a lot to me because I got to play a medley of it when I was in band, and it was playing in like the orchestra.
What did you play?
Bass clarinet.
Wow.
Yep. And it
Ladies'
was
man.
One of the first songs that I felt really, really good about, and I got emotionally attached to it. And now I listen to this music just by doing this research and playing Tonight Quintet. About 50 seconds into it, I started crying.
Oh,
I don't know what it is. It really it touches me. And I watched it on an airplane on a very long flight once. And I'm just sitting on the plane and the movie's ending. And it's this sad, how many bullets are left in this gun? And I'm like,
is that your ugly cry?
Yeah. Oh, that's bad. I think the world of this show, warts and all. I love it. That's all.
You've sold it. Move on.
Okay. Okay. And next up we have 1962's The Music Man.
He's a what? He's a what? He's a music man. What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you pick, talk?
I love Talk a Little, Pick a Little.
Music Man. It ran from Broadway from 1957 to 1961, 1,375 performances, and the movie came out in 1962.
Yes, so Harold Hill poses as a boys band leader to con naive Iowa townsfolk.
You get some notable songs like You Got Trouble, right here in River City. Iowa Stubborn. I just want to sing all these. 76 trombones. Shipoopy, shipoopy.
Do you know what shipoopy means?
No. It means my daughter has a diaper that I need to change.
A she-poopy?
She-poopy.
It's a girl who will not kiss until the third date.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not getting to the third date if someone won't kiss by the second.
Well, a girl who kissed on the very first date is usually a hussy.
So somewhere between hussy and shipoopy?
Second time around, she's anything but fussy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Which that Buddy Hackett is the voice of Scuttle, and my kids picked up on that, and I loved that. They were able to pick up on that. This one, 151 minutes long, so
5/8 of a Snyder Cut.
Pretty long. And this one is one that did quite well.
Yeah.
Also nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. It won Best Musical Score. And this one is one where a lot of the cast did come from the stage, which was a concern because they said, we got no bankable names here. Well, not no, but very little bankable names here. In fact, the Harold Hill, Robert Preston, people are like, no one's going to come see a movie with him in it. But he was the music man in the stage production, and they said, put him in there. Fine.
I know Zach really likes the actress who plays Marion in this movie quite a bit.
Shirley Jones.
Is it Shirley Jones?
Probably.
Haven't you complained about her a few times?
So it's Shirley Jones. You asked, so I do best and favorites?
Yeah.
Sorry. So I'm doing best song, worst song. My best song is You Got Trouble. My worst song is anything Marion sings. Oh, I really don't like her character
Madam Librarian.
at all. It's so good.
This is one where, I was going to mention this. Bing Crosby was actually offered the role, and he turned it down. Then they went to Cary Grant and said, would you like to be Harold Hill? And he denied, saying nobody could do that role as well as Bob Preston. And he said, I would not see this movie unless Preston were in it.
So that fun fact of Cary Grant being cast in almost every one of these movies, he kind of decides who's going to be the main star.
Yeah.
And I love it.
He kind of points and says, that person's going to be your star.
So Meredith Willson, who came up with the music or composed the music.
Wasn't he in Batman?
He made more from the Beatles version of Till There Was You than he did from the play and the movie combined.
Yeah, because the Beatles covered that song.
Yeah, and so all the royalties were huge.
Yeah. Which we should mention, too, Ron Howard. Little baby Ron Howard.
Ronnie Howard. Gary, Indiana.
It's adorable. Gary, Indiana.
I think it's like the crime capital of the world now. That's fine.
This was the third highest grossing film of 1962, which is funny. I say this only because it's amazing to me how many musicals were like in the top 10 of that time.
Well, this was like the MCU of its time.
Yeah,
if we were doing a podcast back in the 60s, I'd be like, knock it off. Another C- musical.
Shared musical universe.
I have to shout this one out for this is probably my favorite musical lyric of all time. It's in Iowa Stubborn. You mentioned that song, which is awesome. But they say, but what the heck? You're welcome. Join us at the picnic. You can have your fill of all the food you bring yourself. And I just think that is so funny.
It's hilarious.
Little wordplay there. That's fun.
It's funny. It's funny.
It's quite funny. Sorry.
This is a tier 1 for me. I absolutely love The Music Man. Every time I watch it, I enjoy it. I've seen it on stage, a high school production, but I'll say on stage.
Yeah.
Those count, right?
Sort of, yeah.
I've seen it on stage. I've seen it in the movie, and I just enjoy it. I really do. So tier 1 for me.
I agree with you. I also give it a tier 1.
I thought you didn't like it.
I like it.
Wow.
I grew up with the movie. I don't like the stage production a ton, but I grew up with the movie. I have fond memories. And when you watch it at home, you can fast forward through Marion.
Yeah, that's very true. This one was in tier 1, but I changed it to tier 2. So it's upper tier 2 because I made a controversial choice later, and I'm sorry.
It's not a thing.
So it's tier 2.
Yeah. This is one, too, I also have associated with my grandpa, where he used to sing Goodnight Ladies.
Yeah.
And he loved barbershop stuff. And so I love that song when he sang it. I loved it in this movie, and I actually used it for one of my daughter's songs. So
nice.
It's got a personal connection there, too. I should point that out. I'm biased.
Next up, we have 1964's 5/7 of a Snyder Cut, My Fair Lady.
All I want is a room somewhere. This is the original play of My Fair Lady, ran from 1956 to 1962, 2,717 performances, and then the movie came out 2 years later in 1964.
So snobbish phonetics professor Henry Higgins agrees to a wager that he can make Flower Girl Eliza Doolittle presentable in high society.
What was the professor's name?
Henry Higgins.
No, it's not. Henry Higgins.
Henry Higgins.
Henry Higgins.
Just you white.
It's got songs such as Wouldn't It Be Loverly, With a Little Bit of Luck, I Could Have Danced All Night, and Get Me to the Church on Time.
So is this a musical? Because I'm not sure it counts when Rex Harrison is singing.
Rex Harrison can't
Did you hear
sing
my
at all.
opening, though?
Yeah.
With Harold Hill. Harold Hill does not sing as much as I
a lot of these leading men
Yeah, but
don't
Robert
sing.
Preston can actually sing.
He can.
Yeah, but that's what, like, the worst song in this
Are
is...
you saying that this is not singing when I'm talking like this to a tune?
Ordinary Man is the worst. An Ordinary Man is like the worst song in this.
And this is based on the 1913 stage play. The play of My Fair Lady is based on the 1913 stage play of Pygmalion.
Yeah.
And so this goes way back, that story of changing someone's stripes.
It's She's All That.
Yeah.
This is all based on She's All That, right?
Oh, yes, exactly. Retroactively.
They had a time machine. They're like, that Freddie Prinze Jr. movie where Rachel Lee Cook was always attractive in the glasses. So this one has kind of a sad backstory with the whole production because Julie Andrews was in the original play, not the 1913 one, but in the 1956 version. And she was just barely getting into the scene, but everyone knew she was crazy talented. So they're about to make this movie, but the producer was the worst person ever.
Kind of terrible.
Hated Julie Andrews for some reason and said, no, she's not going to be in the movie. Audrey Hepburn was like, hey, I don't think I should be in this movie. I think it should be Julie Andrews. He's like, well, even if you quit, it's not going to be Julie Andrews, so you better stay in the movie. And she practiced for months. This is Audrey Hepburn. Practiced for months for this movie, and they dubbed over her voice.
She didn't even know that it was going to happen that way.
So everyone hated this. Rex Harrison hated Audrey Hepburn, and vice versa.
I think Julie Andrews did have the last laugh because this was the second highest grossing film of 1964 because Mary Poppins was number one.
There we go. This is the kind of musical, especially I've watched this 1.5 times now. This is the kind of musical.
1.5?
Yeah. Whereas if I saw the stage play, I'd be checking the playbill 2 songs in. And those are two of the best songs in the play.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, I really don't like this. How many more songs? Oh, no, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
I did not enjoy this either time. I don't really like this movie at all. I didn't like it when we did our Best Picture show. Mm-mm.
Oh, this is a classic, Kent.
It's a classic for all the wrong reasons.
Pioneer of technology.
Go on.
Because Rex Harrison, as you mentioned, is a
he's CG, right?
A wonderful singer, but he never does his lines the same way twice. So he's like, I can't lip sync to my own singing because I do it differently at time, depending on what mood I'm in. So they actually did a type of wireless microphone, which was the first such use during production of a motion picture. And this was 1964. Yeah. Wireless mics. I don't know, Kent. I don't know how you could hate this because this is a tier 1 for me.
It's a tier 3.
Tier 3?
Yeah. I hate the ending. I don't like the music.
Audrey Hepburn is a national treasure.
I love
this
her.
movie proves why she's a national treasure.
Her Cockney accent, horrible.
Have you ever seen the second act? Have you stayed awake that long?
Yes.
We give a hard time to Sound of Music. This is only 9 minutes shorter than Sound of Music, and it's worse.
This is 170 minutes long.
Loses steam real quick.
Okay, this has all-time great songs, right? I Could Have Danced All Night is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's the best song on the show.
On the Street Where You Live.
On the Street Where You Live. Wow.
Yeah.
Such a good song. So many individual good songs. I'd rather just listen to really talented people sing some of the good songs than actually watching this show. I have a lot of shows where I just don't like the second act. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, especially Golden Age musicals, you're like, okay, we've heard all the songs and now we just get to reprise everything and hear it again. And it has to be dramatic for some reason. This is the worst offender of that by far. I will still give it a tier 2.
Thank you.
But it's a low tier 2.
Okay, across the board.
That's not a thing.
I know.
I'll count it. Low tier 2.
Stop it.
Basically tier 3.
This did beat Goldfinger at the box office.
Next up, we have 1965's The Sound of Music. The hills are alive.
You're going to stop there. Okay.
Yeah. I can't sing.
The sound of music.
Are we doing Moulin Rouge now?
No, it's Star Trek.
Oh, I was thinking it was Good Vibrations.
So the original Broadway run was from 1959 to 1963, 1,443 performances, and then the movie came out in 1965.
A woman leaves an Austrian convent to become a governess to a naval officer, widower's children. The hitman's wife's bodyguard.
The funny thing about this movie is that it is based on Maria von Trapp's true story, the story of the Trapp family singers. I think is the book that
Von
came
Trapp
out,
Family Singers,
which she published in 1949 to help promote the singing group after the death of Captain Von Trapp, out of George Von Trapp. And so she did this book, and there were some people who were interested way back then and wanted to get it worked out, but then she was kind of wanted the details to be fairly specific. But then when this movie came out, it changed a bunch of stuff. Like, there's things here that
make it too charming, too likable.
Well, they changed some of the kids' names because one of the kids was named Maria, and they're like, well, we can't have two Marias. Therefore, she is... Oh, which one was she? Louisa. Louisa is actually Maria. He was not captain. He was actually Ritter, which was German for knight. It was a title they had in them. They were not living in that huge, sprawling mansion. They lived fine, but it wasn't like that big.
Was she even a nun?
I don't know if that... But this is the part that I found interesting. The kids described their father, because in the movie he's kind of this emotionally distant
really
jerk.
stern.
The kids described him as a doting parent who made handmade gifts for the children in his wood shop and would lead the family in musicals on his violin, like a very loving person. On the other hand, they talked about Maria as moody and prone to outbursts of rage.
What? No wonder she sang so much.
They said she was like a thunderstorm, but they didn't know, like a sudden thunderstorm, but they didn't know when she was going to be happy or when she was going to be mad.
So we're getting her version of the story?
Basically.
It's like, do, a dear, a female. Yeah.
Start singing, Liesel! Do!
And she didn't even teach them how to sing. They were learning harmonies and things from a vocal coach before she got into the picture.
And they were married well before 1938. They married for practical reasons at the time. It was not romance at first. They grew to love each other, but yeah, just kind of very different. And even the ending. Spoiler alert for 1965: The Sound of Music. At the end, they're marching across the hills into Switzerland.
Yes,
which they couldn't have done like that.
If they'd have gone over the hills, they'd have ended up like at Hitler's summer home,
basically.
It's a sequel.
Like in Salzburg is like 200 miles from Switzerland.
Yeah,
but they in the real life they basically got walked to the train station. And
I like how we're being negative, and I'm going to keep it in the negative territory for a little bit because Christopher Plummer hated this movie. He called it The Sound of Mucus.
Spacey?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. He called it The Sound of Mucus.
Ah, come on.
And he and Julie Andrews are friends, but he's like, I didn't really like the experience at all.
He called her Ms. Disney and was, he said acting with her was like being hit over the head with a Valentine's Day card.
I mean, it sounds kind of nice.
Too bad.
Also, in one scene, Gretel swallowed too much water upon falling out of the rowboat and threw up on Louisa.
No,
161
she couldn't swim.
Out of 175 found this interesting.
The little girl couldn't swim. They talk about this, how when they're all waving to the captain, they all tip over in the boat.
Yeah.
That like they're all kind of, haha, that was funny. And then she's drowning and they had to help her. That poor little girl. This was the highest grossing film of 1965. This was a Best Picture winner. This did make a ton of money at the box office. In fact, it overtook Gone with the Wind for highest grossing film of all time, which was unheard of at the time.
Right.
It was a very powerhouse movie.
It's delightful. It's absolutely delightful. There's some heavy stuff, obviously. But it's so wonderful.
I just listened to a podcast the other day where this girl grew up only watching the first half and thought it ended basically with the wedding. And that's how it ended. And it wasn't until she became an adult that someone said, well, what about the Nazis? She's like, what do you mean the Nazis? And she had to watch the second half as an adult and realized a whole other story to this.
You know what my family musical needs? Running away from Nazis.
You need some bad guys in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Rolf.
Yeah.
Rolf.
Yeah.
Oh, that traitor. That part makes me so mad every time I see it.
Ken, here's what I need you to do, though. I want you to stand here while I stand in the shadows and just scream, climb every mountain at you.
Okay.
Because that's... Have you noticed? They might as well call this the sound of shadows or the shadows of music.
Yeah,
this movie, everybody's standing in the dark.
There's
all
a lot
the
of
time.
darkness.
It's so irritating.
I am 60. Where are you?
The lonely
Where?
Goat, the lonely goat herd didn't stand in the darkness. Oh, man. 16 going on 17.
Edelweiss.
My favorite things. Oh, Edelweiss.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that,
16 going on 17 is the worst song on the show.
I love that one.
I hate it.
I love it for one reason at the end. It's so good.
That's what I do when I get kissed.
I mean, it
don't?
kind of is.
Do, re, mi, so long,
Yeah.
farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
I think the best song is probably my favorite things, but it's not a Christmas song.
It's not a Christmas song.
But it's probably the best.
Okay, go on. Is this a tier 1 or is this tier 1?
It's a tier 2.
What?
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 I saw it for the first time yesterday.
That's right. Yeah, why did you wait so long to see this one?
Just did. It's because it's 3 hours long. I don't know. This is delightful. And actually, as the day and a half has passed, I'm like, this is really good. Like, it's an all-timer. I get it.
Yeah.
I would much, much, much rather watch The Sound of Music than My Fair Lady again.
Julie Andrews Prime right here.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins.
Christopher Plummer's a hottie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was dubbed, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course he was.
Yeah. But they both, Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, both learned to play guitar for this role. Neither one of them really liked Edelweiss. But yeah, I think it's a tier 2, but it probably is on the rise. If I really looked at it, it probably should be a tier 1. But
We'll see how the rest of your list goes.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, tier 1 for me, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
No question
We
about
haven't
that.
agreed on a single one.
and now we have from 1969, hello, comma, Dolly! Exclamation point.
Well, hello, Dolly. This original Broadway was from 1964 to 1970, 2,844 performances. And then the movie came out in 1969, so the movie came out before the Broadway run ended.
The synopsis is quite long. It's all about matchmaker Dolly.
Yeah,
and there's
Barbra
about
Streisand.
1,000 people in the town. I call this twice the cast of Game of Thrones.
There's a lot of people.
Am I supposed to know all these characters? I hope not.
It's directed by Gene Kelly, though. That's kind of cool to think about. This one, 148 minutes, most of which is just Barbra Streisand just going on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Right.
I kept wondering this whole movie, okay, why do people like Dolly? Why is everyone so obsessed with Dolly? I don't understand this.
Because she wears hats?
She does wear hats. That's true.
Walter Matthau's in this one, which I was kind of excited to see.
Which they did not like each other.
Oh, no.
Barbra Streisand and Walter Matthau would fight all the time on the set.
In fact, she said, she won't talk about this film publicly. She only says, I was too young for this role. That's all she'll ever say.
Walter Matthau is quoted as saying that he told Barbara that she had no more talent than a butterfly's fart.
Wow, family friendly.
Grumpy old man right there.
Yeah. Budget was $25 million and it made $26 million. They actually lost money on this one.
Yeah. This whole movie felt like slapstick. I watched this for the first time 2 days ago. I think I've seen the stage production. I'm not a big fan of Barbra Streisand. I probably should be. I
Hit
don't
and miss for me.
Yeah. This one, I wrote in my notes. I can't wait to say goodbye, Dolly.
Tier 3?
Tier 3, all the way.
This was one, and I think this is the one with Michael Crawford in it.
It is.
Yeah, he is.
So he sings the song It Only Takes a Moment, which is a nice song.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where he's singing in a park to his love, and then everyone kind of stands there staring at him like zombies, and then they start singing too, is one of the creepiest moments in musical history.
This won 3 Academy Awards, by the way. Best Art Direction, Best Score of a Musical Picture, and Best Sound. And it was nominated for Best Picture, but didn't win. It shouldn't have. Even though this movie was considered a flop, it was definitely referenced in WALL-E. I don't know if you remember that. They do both Put on Your Sunday Clothes and It Only Takes a Moment. They show those videos. WALL-E loves those videos.
So the movie where he picks up trash, he references a trashy musical. Okay.
I wouldn't say trashy, but
just trash.
It definitely goes on too long.
Way too long.
The story's lacking. It's repetitive. It's whimsical. I liked it okay, but this is a tier 3 in this list.
So,
Zach, give it a tier 3.
Those are noises, Zach, not answers.
I really should have given Sound of Music tier 1, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yes, you should have.
I gave Hello Dolly a tier 1. Okay, so I grew up with this movie.
Goodbye, Zachary.
I grew up with this movie. I love WALL-E. I don't know. I like it. It's breezy. It's fun. I like Walter Matthau. I like Barbra Streisand.
Never been more disappointed.
I'm sorry. I really like it.
We're starting to sing because we're angry again.
I don't like the song So Long Dearie or Ribbons Down My Back.
I'm going to give you a chance to reverse that decision and give Sound of Music tier 1.
Fine. If you'll give it to me, I'll give Sound of Music tier 1.
This is unprecedented.
I'll give Sound of Music tier 1.
Baconsale approved?
I don't know. I kind of like people hating Zach.
Sound of Music tier 1, which does put Dolly to tier 2, but it's firmly in tier 2.
Okay.
Do you want people to hate Zach, or do you agree?
The show's not, I was going to say, the ink's not wet, dry yet, so I think that's okay.
Okay.
We allow
So
it.
that means Sound of Music's now full on tier 1.
I like that. It was a peer pressure tiering
It
right
was.
there.
I was feeling guilty about my answer. I was gonna own it. I like Hello Dolly. I have a lot of fun watching it. My mom watched it a bunch when I was a kid. It reminds me of her, and I like her better than you guys. So
yeah.
Hit and miss. Some movies she's great, some movies she annoys me.
His mom is hit and miss?
My mom?
No, your mom's awesome.
No. Barbra Streisand, yeah, I like her in a lot of stuff, but I do like her in this one. Fine. I downgraded it to tier 2, but WALL-E initially boosted it up to tier 1 because I like WALL-E. Okay, anyway, we need to move on. Fiddler on the Roof, 1971.
A Fiddler on the Roof. Sounds crazy, no? Broadway started in 1964, 3,242 performances. This is one of the bigger ones out there in regard to running on Broadway.
I'm going to make a guess. 6/8 of a Snyder Cut. Yada, 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 yada.
3/4.
It's 3/4. Okay, this is
3
the
hours,
longest 1 minute.
Longest run time.
So this is in pre-revolutionary Russia. A Jewish peasant contends with marrying off 3 of his daughters while growing anti-Semitic sentiment threatens his village.
This features such songs as Tradition, Matchmaker, Matchmaker, If I Would, I'd Reach Man to Life, Sunrise, Sunset, and Do You Love Me? I'm going to show my cards here on the table. I was in Fiddler on the Roof. I played Fietka, the Russian soldier, who steals away Chava from Devya. And I got to love this play while doing it. We learned all about the culture of the people of the time. I learned so many things I didn't know.
So I read the musical actually has more levity than the movie does. The movie's super heavy.
It's heavy. They cut out. Well, the thing is, they cut out some stuff to musical numbers too. But it was definitely heavy in the play. Like I remember at the end, we're all kind of like sniffing, like, "Wow, that was
it's really sad." You get to the end, and I know Tevye smiles. Spoiler alert! But it's like, oh, that's horrible. That's so sad.
It definitely ends on a downer. This stars Topol.
Yeah,
I love that he's the one named character.
By the way, Topol was like in his mid-30s at this time.
Yeah,
and so to make him look older, they cut 15 white hairs from the director, whose name is Norman Jewison. It's kind of a convenient name. And apply them to Topol's eyebrows. I can say it. I can get away with it. But they put him on his eyebrows. So parts of beard are on his eyebrows.
Really? Yeah. No, he looks so old that I saw him in a James Bond movie, I think it was.
Yeah.
I saw him and I'm like, wait, isn't he supposed to be old? He looks so young.
Yeah.
But he plays Tevye so well. And there's actually some controversy there because a man named Zero Mostel was like the Tevye of the time.
He was in Producers. He was in Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Yeah, I mean, Topol was doing it as well. But like Zero Muscle is what made the Tevye performance stand out. And they said, no, we're going with Topol. We're going with him because they felt like Zero Mustel's performance might have been too over the top.
Zero Mustel's very funny,
and I don't think that's needed
and more broad.
Yeah.
Can I redeem myself from my previous choices and
well, I don't know where this goes because it's 3 hours 1 minute. This is like, if people don't like long movies, this is going to be excruciating.
This is the best long movie you could watch. Tier 1.
It's a tier 1.
It's a tier 1.
It's a tier 1.
It's an all-timer.
Hey, we did it!
I got Jewish bias.
L'chaim!
Mazel tov.
I think the best song is If I Were a Rich Man. But
I love that one.
Sunrise Sunset.
And Sunrise Sunset.
Yeah.
Sunrise Sunset was
that gets me.
If I Were a Rich Man is the one that you sing. But Sunrise Sunset is probably the best for me. And I don't like Matchmaker. at all.
Man,
Matchmaker's fine.
You could take that out, and I would.
My hipster pick is the "Do You Love Me" one, where it's Tevye talking to
you love me?
No, not
Do
that
you
one.
love me?
But it's this whole conversation of like, it's kind of this more arranged marriages back then, but they have this whole conversation about, well, yeah, we've been married a while, but do you love me? And I love that conversation. And it ends so cute. Oh, I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it.
Do you know who did the music? Not like put together the actual orchestration for the movie?
No.
Mr. John Williams.
Hey.
Really? The John Williams.
Nice.
The John Williams.
Not John Williams,
No,
but the.
By the way, this was the highest grossing film of 1971. It beat Diamonds Are Forever and Dirty Harry.
Diamonds are forever.
And I'm not saying this is one that I'll be like, hey, have a good time. Let's throw on Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
This is one that every now and then you watch, and it's like a reverence where I watch it and I'm like, wow.
It sucks you right into the village, and that's why
With
for
tradition.
3 hours, and maybe it's a 2-sitting type of movie.
Yeah.
But you're like right in there, and you get to know everyone that lives
what
there as
intermissions
well.
are for.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's honestly what I felt about Sound of Music too. I was like, this one, unlike My Fair Lady, these knocking on 3 hour or 3 hour movies, they're still good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, I don't mind the runtime because I like living in this world with these characters, even if it's not comfortable all the time.
So that was a legitimate agreement of Tier 1.
Yeah.
No
And
peer
No
pressure.
asterisk.
No asterisk on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Wow, we did at least one thing right on this list, right? Okay. Now, next up, I feel like this is a hard break. We have now moved away from the golden age and we go into 1978's Grease.
Grease ran from 1972 to 1980 on Broadway. 3,388 performances. A lot of them. And then the movie
That's
came
the
out.
word.
Well, and the movie came out in 1978, so before the run was over.
This is a story about Sandy and Danny falling in love over the summer and then rekindling their romance.
Is this Pygmalion?
Sandy and Prince Zuko. Notable songs include, of course, Grease, the title song, which was written by Barry Gibb, but sung by Frankie Valli, which is a cool combination.
And we're under the 2-hour mark on this one.
Yeah.
This is our first one. It's 4/9 of a Snyder Cut.
Also, Summer Nights, Look at Me, I'm Sandra D, Hopelessly Devoted to You, Grease Lightning, Beauty School Dropout, Born to Hand Jive, You're the One That I Want. Like all these songs that you just know and then you put it on a wedding and everyone dances to.
Yeah.
I vote You're the One That I Want. It's probably the best.
But they don't listen to the lyrics, I've come to realize.
Fun fact, this musical is the least family-friendly movie that every child of the 80s and 90s has seen.
Yeah.
A ton, too.
So
it's terrible.
when I was doing Song and Dance Sunday, I was like, maybe we should show my kids Grease. And I started looking.
Do we have Grease Jr. on video?
And then I started looking up and I'm like, whoa, Grease Lightning. Whoa.
Wait, what does it mean?
No.
I'll tell you this much, Kent. So I just recorded it off TV, off YouTube TV. And it was on, I don't know, Sundance or Paramount or one of those weird channels. But it said TVPG, and they were actually muting words in Grease Lightning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that.
it's tier 2.
Even though this is the least expensive movie, the budget was only $6 million.
You can't have a flying car with a small budget, okay?
Did it fly or did the camera just go down?
What?
Oh.
They died. This is a movie that the older I get, the less I like it. Loved it when I was a kid. And then I'm like, I've grown out of it.
But why was that we used to watch this all the time as kids and think it was so cool?
It's so fun.
It is so fun. The music is still fun.
Yes.
I still enjoy it. I was just saying when the hand jive number came out, I just watched this one recently. When it came on, I was totally just doing it along with the dance.
You enjoy Hopelessly Devoted to You.
Hopelessly devoted.
The song that they had finished filming and then they did not meet the contractual requirement for Olivia Newton-John, so they had to add the
She
song.
had to have a solo, and they couldn't figure out what to do.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's filmed after the film wrapped. They came back and did Hopelessly Devoted to You.
Yeah. Or the even worse song of the show, Worst Things I Could Do. We definitely need our fun side character who's been through a lot of moral stuff to have a dramatic number.
Are you giving this a tier 3, Zach?
I think this show has amazing music that is all-time great.
It has Lorenzo Lamas in it, Zach.
Here's another fun fact.
He's the jock.
Time
He's
Lorenzo
the jock
Lamas has been
that
referenced
Sandy dates.
on Baconsale.
Here's another fun fact for you. This is almost as good as Grease 2, tier 3.
You saying Grease 2 is tier 3. Okay, we agree with you. The Grease 2
No.
is tier 3.
Grease 2 is a solid tier 2.
Please help me out here, gentlemen. And you listener at home, I want you to listen to this and just finish this. Just echo what I'm going to do, how in this song. You know how it goes.
Okay.
You're the one that I want.
You are the one that I want.
So you said
Honey,
you are the one I want, right?
you are the one I
Is that
want.
what you would agree?
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
Chipmunks lied to me. In Chipmunk version, it's you're the
Chip-
one that I want. You are the one, boy.
Oh, you thought it was that?
I don't know if I'm
That's
right.
the Chipmunk version. So in my head, it's what it's saying. It wasn't until I watched it with the subtitles I went, oh, that's not what they're saying.
Did you believe everything the Chipmunks have told you?
Chipmunks lied to me.
They never called the witch doctor.
Yes, they did. They said ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah. But speaking of lying, by the way, this movie gave me unrealistic expectations of what I would look like in high school.
You didn't think
Like a
you'd look
35-year-old?
No, I looked at the cast. Actually, the only teenager.
Is that why you bought a leather jacket?
Yes, the only teenager in the main cast, and I say main loosely, Luis Lorenzo Lamas. He was 19 years old.
Stop it.
Most
we
of the
don't
cast
need to talk about him anymore.
Most of the cast,
Lorenzo Lamas show.
Renegade. Most of the cast was like late 20s, early 30s. Carol Channing. Good heavens. Stockard Channing.
Yeah.
Who played Rizzo. She was 33 years old.
Yeah.
And in fact, when they were doing casting calls, they'd do crow's feet checks on the cast to see if they could pass.
It was a different time where when you were 30, you looked 55.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas now it's like you could be 55 and
It
look
also
30.
is like pre 4K.
Yeah.
You can't pull that off in HD world.
Yeah.
What'd you give it?
I give this a tier 2.
Okay.
It had
Same.
a place in my heart. I'm hopelessly devoted to this because I really don't want to like it, but I watched it. I was like, yeah, here we go again.
Edit.
Yeah.
My kids don't come in the room. They're at the drive-in.
Wait, what happens to the drive-in?
Nothing.
Watch it.
Wait, what does Grease Lightning mean again?
So from
No, Grease Lightning is the car. It's everything else they say.
From 1982, we have Annie.
Oh, we're moving on.
Okay, good. Let's kind of
We have to go.
like a movie that children shouldn't watch if we're doing a movie about children.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Ran from 1977 to 1983 with 2,377 performances. By the way, I should clarify, these don't include revivals and tours and things like that. This is just the original Broadway run.
So a spunky young orphan is taken in by a rich eccentric, much to the chagrin of a cantankerous woman who runs the orphanage.
A lot of words in there that are
Yes.
weird. Such hits as Tomorrow,
Maybe.
I Love You, Tomorrow. It's a Hard Knock Life. You never fully dressed without a smile. I think I'm going to like it here. Little Girls.
Yeah, little girls.
Little girl. We'd like
Carol
to thank
Burnett.
you, Herbert Hoover. Everybody's favorite song.
It's your least favorite.
Worse than the show.
Carol Burnett is the reason to watch this movie,
Yeah,
I think.
And then Tim Curry.
Yeah.
I was going to Tim Curry rocks in this movie.
I think Eileen Quinn, the title character of Annie, she's adorable.
Eileen?
She won the Razzie for Worst Actress. I hate
liked
the
her.
Razzies.
I liked her in this. A lot of people didn't like this, though. In fact,
Yes.
the lyricist of Annie, he did the original play. He did not like this adaptation. He said they made Warbucks, an Englishman who screamed, Hannigan, a man crazy drunk, and Annie was too cuted up. He did not like the adaptation, this film adaptation. And
It sounds right to me.
that's what I'm like. I don't know what the play's like. I've never seen it on stage, but if Miss Hannigan is not a drunk man crazy.
I just know the old comic strips where they forgot to draw eyeballs.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Gross.
I'm glad they changed
Sold
that for the movie.
Ovaltine all the time.
I think this is endlessly endearing, though. Like from the get-go, it's a hard life with all those cute little girls, all the choreographed
Is this
dancing.
a nostalgia choice?
I think it might be because a lot of people.
One of the first musicals I've ever seen.
Well, I watched it a lot as a kid, but I think
Yeah.
a lot of people who were adults at the time did not like this because it was overly long, overly sappy.
Have you noticed where she's climbing up the ladder in the climax of the movie? It's just like this really tall stunt guy in the dress. Go back to it. It's kind of weird looking.
This was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Production Design and Best Song Score. I don't think it won either one. This cost a lot of money to make.
It was so expensive to make, and it actually never really earned that back, did it?
No, not really.
I'm throwing this out there.
Yeah.
This is my guilty pleasure tier 1 right here.
Whoa.
Why is it got to be guilty when I agree with you?
Yes, okay. I thought I'd be the only one
No.
because a lot of people don't like this movie. But Hard Knock Life, I sing it once a week to my kids.
It's a hard every time they do dishes.
Yeah, or every time they're
Life
just complaining
for
about something
us.
like, it's a hard knock life for you. I'm the worst.
Yeah. I think it did end up earning its money back too, if I remember right.
Maybe
that's
on like
fine.
video.
Yeah.
You know how you have your nostalgia if you saw it as a kid. I saw this as a kid and hated it, and it's a tier 3. Like I have anti-nostalgia for it because I didn't like it as a kid.
Anti-nostalgia?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, a new host tomorrow.
I think Tomorrow is the best song in the show, but it ended up getting bumped to tier 3. I will never choose to watch this on purpose.
This is one, though, where it
is too sappy.
About halfway through the movie, I was like, oh, yeah, there's more movie.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of the fun stuff at the beginning and then fun stuff at the end, but there's kind of that, kind of around the movies part, which is a good song, but it's a little draggy.
Back to the same problem. The second half is just kind of dull. Yeah,
Zack
it ended up
hates
tier
second
3.
halves.
I don't.
Well, the Gilmore patriarch is also the president in this movie, so that's a win.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edward Herman.
Yep.
Let's go over. Oh, by the way, that's only one half of a Snyder Cut.
Oh,
pretty short.
That's digestible.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to 1986's Little Shop of Horrors.
Little shop of horrors. This was never hit Broadway in the original run. And so it ran from 1982 to 1987 at the Orpheum Theater with 2,209 performances.
A nerdy florist finds his chance for success and romance with the help of a giant man-eating plant who demands to be fed.
Feed me, Seymour. Notable songs include Little Shop of Horrors, Somewhere That's Green, Dentist.
You'll be a dentist.
Some guy Seymour.
I think I was a dumb kid. I watched this movie so often as a kid, and I didn't really consider it a musical. Like I knew there were songs like the dentist song, obviously, and Suddenly Seymour. I actually thought was like, oh, is that a stage song? Because I never watched this for the music. I watched it for the story and kind of how devious it all was.
It's a little devious.
Do you think it was the Disney effect?
What,
like
we
we're
thought
just so
everything was a
used to
musical?
having music.
I kind of feel that way.
Yeah,
because when I
agree
saw
with you.
the Greek chorus, which is there throughout this movie,
I love those.
By the way,
three.
two of those actresses went on to star in Martin.
Yeah.
Gina being one of them.
Yep.
Oh, fun.
Right.
Martin.
But now I rewatched this whole thing yesterday, and I mean devoured it because of nostalgia.
And this is directed by Frank Oz, too, which is funny.
And you can tell because of the puppetry, right?
Yeah, a lot of puppetry. That puppet is amazing.
Audrey 2, the large puppet, was actually designed by veterans of the Jim Henson Company. One of the operators was Brian Henson, Jim's son, which means Audrey 2 is a Muppet.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, they couldn't get it to look right for the longest time. And then as they were fast forwarding, rewinding clips of the puppet, they realized if they sped it up, it looked kind of realistic. So then they had the puppet move really slow.
Really?
And then they kind of increased the frame rate on the
that's
puppet.
cool.
And so sometimes the actors have to act slow in front of the puppet whenever they're together.
So you said you just rewatched this.
I just rewatched it.
Okay.
First half of the music itself is really good.
Yeah.
Then it drags because the story gets real dark.
Yeah.
And then the last 10 minutes, the world is destroyed. Spoiler alert.
It goes.
In the original version.
Go on.
They have the alternate. They put the alternate one there.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay, how does the alternate end?
No, the alternate ending, the one they didn't release, is the one where Audrey 2 ends up destroying the entire world.
That's the one I watched yesterday. And I was like, why doesn't all this seem familiar?
Because, that's the other
Literally
ending.
destroying. There are two Audrey 2s on the Statue of Liberty eating helicopters.
That is the original ending. And
Okay.
they gave it to test audiences. The test audiences were like, that got
because
dark.
the last 10 minutes of the movie, none of the main cast is in there at all.
Yeah.
I have never seen this.
Oh, you haven't? You should. Because I was like, is the stage play like this? Because it's so grim. It really is kind of like, hey, will there be a sequel where the army tries to fight these evil plants?
Well, and so they filmed the ending. Test audiences hated it, so they had to redo the entire ending with kind of a white picket fence. Basically,
is that what we saw as kids? Because I feel like it wasn't as dark back then.
It ends with like them white picket fence going to the house.
they
they're
go to
happy, and there's a little Audrey outside in their garden.
That's what I saw. That's not the version I watched yesterday, though.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was happy. The one I saw, and you should watch
crazy.
it. You
No,
should watch
I really
it.
want to watch it.
So no, here's the thing: is that they released the DVD and it had this alternate ending, the original ending, but it was like black and white. The special effects weren't there, and the director actually went, "What are you doing?" And he started recalling all those DVDs. Then they colorized it, got it all nice, and I think 2012 they got out the
It looked
alternate
perfect.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, watch it because I was like,
I want to.
this is taking risks.
No, because
Yeah.
it's she sings Somewhere That's Green. Worst song on the show.
Wait,
Whoa!
I don't like Somewhere That's Green. But then they,
like anything
they
Alan
end
Green
in
sings.
that world.
Suddenly Seymour.
I love that song
No,
so much.
no,
wait.
no. It's so funny.
Stands there
It's suddenly
She's got such a good range.
But what?
Ellen Green is
Was that Rick
fantastic.
Moranis' real singing voice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because he's quite good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and
because it's good. It's a character singing role. He doesn't need to be super good.
Well,
Hold on.
and jumping back to the original
Yeah.
versus the thing, I want to bring this up, is that Frank Oz says, I learned a lesson that in a play, everyone gets killed off, but then they come out for the curtain call and the audience is like, oh, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like their brain just kind of trips and says, yeah, they're fine. And this one, in movies, you don't get to do that. So these characters you've been following the whole time are just gone, and people hated it.
She's wearing a wedding dress, and he puts Audrey into Audrey 2's mouth.
She asks him to. Yeah, it's dark. By the
Wait,
way,
that doesn't happen in the one I watched when I was a kid?
No. He said
Wow.
that. This one, the studio actually wanted Cyndi Lauper to play that part of Audrey, but she turned it down.
Oh, wow.
And here's a fun fact for you, gentlemen. The role played by Bill Murray as the dental patient who really likes pain
Yeah.
was originally played in the 1960 Little Shop
I
of
know
Horrors
this.
by Jack Nicholson,
Oh, okay.
which I watched the original 1960 Little Shop of Horrors. Not a musical.
No.
And not good.
Nope.
It's actually pretty bad. And this one is so much better. I really, 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 really like this one. And it's because of the music. Like the story, I like. But I really like the music on this one.
Like a lot of it, there's
Yeah.
like 2.5 standout tracks.
No, I like most. I actually like the majority of the soundtrack, except for I don't like Audrey. Excuse me, I like Audrey. I don't like Audrey 2 singing.
Yeah.
like the big green, bad green mother.
I'm a mean green mother from
I like
outer
that.
space.
By the way, that was nominated for Best Original Song, and it was the first song to be nominated by the Academy with profanity in it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had to censor it when they performed
There's
it at
some
the
language
Oscars.
in this play.
Yeah,
Movie, I guess.
it actually lost to Take My Breath Away.
You mentioned Bill Murray. This is the only movie where Bill Murray and Steve Martin performed together.
Bizarre.
Right? Comedy legends.
I give this a tier 2 because the music cannot carry it. I do love it for nostalgia.
I
It's still
love the
entertaining to
music.
watch it.
Oh, I give this a tier 1 all the way.
Tier 1, Zach.
Yeah.
I'm with you on
sorry
this
to let
one.
you guys down.
Finally.
It's our shortest run time, but man, they use every minute well.
2/5 of a Snyder Cut. This is awesome. And I like re-listened to some of the tracks on here, and they may not stand out, but I love them. You know, I love hearing all of them. I love the style.
I mean, could you sing more than 3 of them?
Probably not. Probably not.
One of my dream roles, by the way, to play.
Seymour?
No.
Audrey too?
No. The
dentist.
I want the dentist number.
Okay. Now, this is where we definitely take a break as far as time goes and make a jump.
Yeah, what happened to musicals in the 90s, or do we just not have any on our list?
Well, it's not. They faded out a little bit in the 90s, and then something happened there in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's called pitch correction, which is why we get into a bunch more musicals into the early 2000s.
Because suddenly they could alter celebrities' voices to make them sound good?
Yep. So then you see big stars in movies.
Is that why they feel so soulless?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Speaking of soulless,
2002 Chicago.
So this is actually an interesting one because it only ran from 1975 to 1977, only 936 performances, and audiences mostly stayed away from this one. It kind of went away because it was just too cynical for audiences. They didn't like it. And it wasn't until this new revival, slimmed down revival, kind of a minimalist revival came along that people went, oh, this is fun.
Well, that
was in the 90s, actually.
That's
90s.
the thing that's interesting about this movie is this is the first one. The movie's actually based on the revival version of the show.
Yeah.
So it's not even based on the original.
Anyway, Kenny, you want to give a synopsis?
Yeah, 2 death row murderesses develop a fierce rivalry while competing for publicity, celebrity, and a sleazy lawyer's attention.
The notable songs include All That Jazz, The Cell Block Tango, We Both Reach for the Gun, Mr. Cellophane, and Razzle Dazzle.
Do we like the format of this? Because this seems like it's just a stage musical filmed on stage.
I do.
You do.
The theatrical person in me, I actually liked the format. So the concept is this is a musical occurring in Roxy's mind. So the fantastical things
Roxy
that you
being,
see.
Renee
Zellweger's character, who I don't like her at all, but I think she's good in this movie. I think the format's cool just because it's more stagey. And that's the appeal of this show. The original choreography was by a guy named Bob Fosse.
Yeah.
Who basically invented...
Very famous choreographer.
Very famous. Basically invented a genre of dance. And that's kind of the draw. And so you can't do as showy a performance unless you stage it this way. So I actually am totally cool with the format for this style of show because really it's just vignettes.
It's true, yeah.
It's not as much a through line story.
But I don't like the story. I don't.
It's
I just
not
don't.
redeemable.
But
Bad people being bad.
But I like some...
What do you like about Chicago,
Some
Joel?
of the songs I really like.
Like?
Mr. Cellophane.
You know why you like it?
I love Mr. Cellophane.
You like one of the songs?
Well, I like Mr. Cellophane. I like All That Jazz. I like We Both Reach for the Gun and Razzle Dazzle.
Those are all the same song.
Oh, Cell Block Tango.
Those are all the same song.
How are they all the same song?
Listen to
No other song
Is this like
squish.
Nirvana where it's like 3 chords?
Really?
What do you mean?
Seriously, it's 6. Ready?
Squish.
You do something and then stop. Cellophane, they call me cellophane. You have to like stop for a second.
And all that
jazz. Like it's all of the songs are basically the same. So I wrote that
What about Pop, Sick, Squish, Cicero?
they had it coming. They had it coming. I don't know.
It's just jazz.
I say that
Did William Shatner write the music?
there's so many weird pauses in it.
Yeah.
I said the best song is all of them, and the worst song is all of them because they're so similar. You know, you really all you do is Richard Gere's character, Billy Flynn, the lawyer.
Yeah.
He brings in a little bit of this thing.
Yes.
In my opinion, this is redemption for musicals because they're trying to make up for Moulin Rouge losing in 2000. That's Joel's exact words every time we mention Chicago.
I'm gonna sing now.
Go on.
Because Moulin Rouge should have won in 2001, but they gave it to A Beautiful Mind instead.
Beautiful Mind's
and then
pretty great.
This
Beautiful
one,
Mind is a good movie, though.
it is, but
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge was so much better than Chicago. But then they were like, "Oh man, we should have given
But
it."
people's noses were bleeding
the
at the
makeup.
beginning of
No, what they
Moulin
should have
Rouge.
not done is taken this movie over the Holocaust movie with Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the pianist.
Yeah, what?
And then also this one
Fellowship.
the Two Towers. Was
Two Towers
Chicago.
was that
Oh,
year.
even, yeah.
The better one.
Fellowship was Moulin Rouge's year. So this is one where I don't like it, and I've tried to give it a couple chances, and I just can't. I don't enjoy the movie.
This was zeitgeist. This is like, oh, that movie just really made a splash. These 2 actresses are in their prime at this point. Let's give it the awards.
But it won the Best Picture, and it didn't deserve it because
we talk about that every year. What deserves the Best Picture?
well, but this one
Very
is one
few of the winners.
no one really talks about this movie
No.
anymore.
No.
It was a flash in the pan, and I don't know, tier 3. I don't want to talk
It's
about
tier
this
3.
anymore.
Give it a tier 2. I'll give it 2. It's low tier 2, but it's tier 2, and I'll give you 2 reasons. And their names are Catherine Zeta-Jones and Richard Gere. They are very good looking.
They are very good.
And also, I get a surprise tap number from Richard Gere. He's thinking about what he's going to do in court, and by doing so, is tap dancing for some reason.
And I like that. Like, the thing is that we both reach for the gun is the musical number where he basically uses Renee Zellweger as a puppet.
That's a cool sequence.
Yeah. It's like a lawyer telling the client what to say.
That's a really cool sequence.
And they totally went, and it shows him like puppeteering the whole audience. That is a good part.
Renee Zellweger is a ventriloquist doll.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Now, from the famous director of a couple of Batman movies, 2004's Phantom of the Opera.
Which is like original Broadway ones, 1988 to present.
Yeah.
So this show has been staged over 13,000 times.
So has this ever been made into a musical movie before, other than just recordings of the stage production?
I don't think so, no.
This was the first one.
Which, it's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
Well, but they've been trying to get it actually ready. They were trying to get it done way back when the Phantom was being popular on Broadway.
Sure.
But then Sarah Brightman and Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to have a divorce, and that kind of threw everything for a loop, and there were some financial issues. But
so it took a while to get this one going, and this is the version we got?
So, synopsis. A disfigured introvert grooms a young child for a decade to become an opera star and his girlfriend.
That sounded a lot worse than the...
What? Is that not the story of Phantom of the Opera?
Oh, shush. Notable songs
it absolutely
include,
is.
Think of Me, The Phantom of the Opera, Music of the Night, All I Ask of You, Masquerade, The Point of No Return.
Amazing music.
Which Andrew Lloyd Webber, who composed this, he actually he chose Joel Schumacher because of The Lost Boys.
So he was having some late night movie marathon. He's like, that movie 25 years ago?
No.
Super cool.
This was back then. He watched Lost Boys, and he was so impressed with how Schumacher used music in Lost Boys, which does have a lot of cool music. Cry Little Sister and,
it works
and
really well.
Strange. That he wanted him, but then even years later, he still said, "Yeah, keep going with him." Even though he did Batman and Robin, I want him.
I mean, we back on Joel Schumacher a lot. He maybe 50-50 kind of career.
Yeah.
But I think the way this movie sets up, and I know the musical does it better, but when they finally show the chandelier in the auction and it rises up.
Are you talking where we go from black and white to color?
Yes.
So cool.
That was a great part.
An impacting scene. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, and I've talked about soap operas recently, but it's like soap opera filter. Let's make everything cloudy, and it looks really dated from then on.
I'll tell you what. Minnie Driver as Carlotta, fantastic.
Super fun.
Awesome.
Patrick Wilson as Raoul,
great.
Totally
surprisingly good.
Awesome. Emmy Rossum as Christine,
adorable.
Yes.
Yes.
And you get the title role of Phantom of the Opera, which was Gerard Butler.
You know, in his defense, he wasn't a trained singer.
No, he's like the only not.
He
trained
wasn't
singer
really
in
a
the
trained
cast.
actor at this point either. I think his only major movie was Dracula 2000.
Didn't he have 300 before this?
No, it was after 3 years after.
That's right. So he got
but Dracula
later.
2000.
Yeah, well, and Hugh Jackman was supposed to play the role, but he had Van Helsing going on, so he couldn't do it.
Wow.
He would be terrible, though.
Katie Holmes was actually originally slated to be Christine, and then fell
Emmy
out.
Rossum was
and then it was
perfect.
going to be Anne Hathaway, but she had to do Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement,
Thank
so she
goodness.
couldn't do it. And then you get Emmy Rossum, and I really did think it was. I would have liked this more had it not been for Gerard Butler, because Michael Crawford in the original Phantom of the Opera, his voice is so good, just like butter. As they say, like butter.
I think one of the very best songs with Michael Crawford is The Point of No Return.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler makes that the worst song in this show.
Well, it's because
you have to listen to him being moody and
he doesn't sing high because he can't hit the high notes. And I understand that. I can't hit high notes, but
he can
what
electronically.
He does is he starts to do raspy. And there's there's one part, and I'm going to do it like he does. He goes, go now and leave me. Like he says that, and I'm like, the way you said that just made me want to punch in the
You sound like me when I see an attractive girl. It's too bad. I hate to pull the movie down because I actually think the quality of the movie is not super great for what the musical is, for what the legacy is.
Yeah.
This is a poor, and that's what we're judging this on. Not
This
like
is the movie. Yes,
not like,
the music.
hey, is the music bad? No, it's classic.
Although-
but how's the adaptation?
My wife has the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I have like the original Broadway cast or original London cast, one of the two. I can't remember which right now off the top of my head, but it's got Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman.
Okay.
She had the single disc movie soundtrack, and then when we put them on our computer, I'd say play Phantom of the Opera, and it would play the stupid version, and I get so bugged, so I had to create a playlist of just this is the pure Phantom. Go now and leave me.
I love when the Phantom of the Opera, like the proper song, you have this awesome, epic organ music. And you know what's going to support that? Just so much synth.
Yeah.
Why does it do that?
But that's the play. The play does that.
And there's a lot
but
of
why?
a lot of the epic songs are being played in the background as they're just riding a boat. to a place. It's just like more like a music video to me.
And
Masquerade.
I saw this one, gentlemen. Yes. I've seen it at Her Majesty's Theatre in London at the West End.
Okay, take it easy.
This was like one of my most favorite performances I've ever seen. And that part, it's so cool because the stage is transforming right in front of your eyes. They're walking down walkways. All of a sudden, there's a boat, and it's gliding across the stage, and it looks like it's on water. Candles come up out of the ground. It's amazing. And then I watched this movie, and I was like, that's not as cool.
No.
Give it tier 3 or I'll slap you.
I give it a tier 2.
Okay.
What? It's a tier 3.
I give it a tier 2 because I love this musical so much.
Okay. It's good source material.
I just don't think the adaptation nails it at all.
I think
in any way.
It's only Gerard Butler. Like they put the weight on his shoulders.
It's a foggy filter. This entire movie.
It's enough of a draw. Or enough
Minnie
of a
Driver
pull
saying,
down.
"Where's my doggy?" That is one of my.
She's great.
Gerard Butler is ruining this movie completely.
No,
it's horrible.
Also Jennifer Ellison is Meg.
Some of the story itself is really dour and dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about synopsis.
Yeah. Speaking of dour and depressing, 2007's Hairspray.
I woke up today.
Okay,
Good morning, Baltimore.
This is an interesting one because the original Hairspray movie, came out in 1988.
Right, John Waters movie.
John Waters movie came out in 1988.
Ricky Lake starring.
Ricky Lake's in it, and then it was kind of a cult classic. Didn't really go anywhere, but then they put it to music on Broadway. And from 2002 to 2009, 2,642 performances. Then they decided to make a movie.
Because it was Harvey Fierstein? He's the guy who talks like this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's the one who put the show.
I was thinking you were talking about a producer.
I was trying to be careful and not say the other guy.
Yeah.
Who definitely produced Chicago, and that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but Harvey Fierstein put this out and played
Feinstein.
Feinstein,
something like
Feinstein.
He's in Independence Day.
He's the guy in Independence.
Okay, you're hurting my throat.
Yeah.
So pleasantly plump teenager Tracy Turnblad teaches 1962 Baltimore a thing or two about integration after landing a spot on a local TV dance show.
Yeah, songs include Good Morning Baltimore and You Can't Stop the Beat.
You Can't Stop the Beat. I Can Hear the Bells. I saw this one in Vegas randomly at the Luxor.
Wow.
It was a really good production. And so when the movie was announced, I'm like, I'm pretty excited for that. And the movie's kind of a joy to watch.
They got an ensemble cast here of like John Travolta, Michelle Pfeiffer, Christopher Walken, Amanda Bynes, James Marsden, Queen Latifah, Brittany Snow, Zac Efron, Elijah Kelly, Alison Janney, and Nikki Blonsky is the title character. Well, is the main character, since the title character. Her name's not Hairspray.
I think this movie is quite delightful, actually.
It has such a fun look to it. Like I love the choreography in this one. I really like the costume design and the set design. Like they captured that. A lot of fun.
It's bubblegum. Like it will probably
in the truest form.
It loses its flavor within 20 minutes, but still.
It's bubblegum that has like a rose's thorn in it of racism.
But it solves racism.
No,
Zach.
it's bubblegum that will lecture you after you chew it for a while.
Yeah.
It gets pretty heavy-handed at times.
Really.
And this is also, we mentioned it before, a lot of this, and I don't want to play into Zach's hand here, but this does feel like a second act slump. Where the first act is where all the fun stuff is, and you get in the second act, you're like
marches,
trying to chug through it, and there's something fun, and then you're chugging again. But it has a fun ending. I quite enjoyed it, but this is not one that I would choose to watch many, many times.
You're giving it a
tier 3.
Whoa! Yeah. Amanda Bynes is in it.
She is.
She's
adorable. She's adorable in this.
Joel, you're right. It's a tier 3.
Thank you, Zach.
It's a tier 2 because the music is quite fun.
The music is super fun. You Can't Stop the Beat is a great song, best in the show. But then you get You're Timeless to Me. I definitely need Christopher Walken singing to John Travolta.
Well, John Travolta, I think, was wrong for the role. The way he talked drove me nuts. He's like, "Oh, Tracy, don't do that. Go now, and leave me."
This is the second film starring Michelle Pfeiffer and Christopher Walken. The first being Batman Returns.
Oh yeah,
I like that one. Also, this is another lie because even though the whole movie's about Baltimore,
it wasn't even Hairspray.
It's filmed in Toronto.
That's the lie you're going to call it out for?
What other lie is there?
Well, the fact that it's just fiction.
Well, yeah. But I mean, Oklahoma, not filmed in Oklahoma. Hairspray, so it's not filmed in Baltimore.
You're mad about geographical lies. Okay, sing about it.
I'm mad about geographical lies. Geographical lies make me angry, so I'm gonna lecture you. Yeah, we cured racism.
Tell me lies, geographical lies.
Oh, that'd have been better.
Yeah.
It's only half a Snyder cut. You can watch it. It's fine.
So it's a Joss Whedon cut.
It's one Justice League. All right. Now, also in 2007, a little bit later in that year, and thematically similar, we have Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
And the tale of Sweeney Todd.
Not even in that movie.
I know they cut out that song, which I love, but
it makes sense why.
Well, he said, like, instead of telling people we're going to attend the tale, let's just attend the tale.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense for that to be in the show. They give it the orchestral version at the very beginning.
Yeah, which
you guys can be okay.
I want to bring this up that I watched this one originally on
You're not.
ClearPlay, I think it was originally, because it's in our rating, and I was like, oh, let's see what's in it. It cut out almost the entire opening credits.
Oh, because it's a stream of blood.
Because it's a stream of blood going through like gears and down a drain. So I definitely turned down the filters after that.
Very cartoony.
Very cartoony.
It's blood, yeah.
But backing it up, the original Broadway one was from 1979 to 1980. Only 557 performances. People didn't find the love for it until the revivals.
So it's the infamous story of Sweeney Todd, who sets up a barbershop in London, which is the basis for a sinister partnership with his fellow tenant, Mrs. Lovett.
Songs include Joanna, Pretty Women, A Little Priest, By the Sea, Not While I'm Around.
My Friends.
Yes.
Epiphany.
Oh, yeah. That's one too. This is directed by Tim Burton, and this is the only R-rated musical we have on.
Yeah. Where were you guys at 2007? Did you care about Tim Burton at this time? Were you done with Johnny Depp?
I was done with Tim Burton, done with Johnny Depp. But
Same.
I was 17.
Okay.
And I devoured this movie.
Joel?
Well, we talked about this on Baconsale episode 77, From Pee-wee to Peregrine, Tearing Tim Burton. I, just before this, had found a love for Sweeney Todd. I didn't really know the play until I was in college, and then I read it, actually. I read the play, like I got the playbook, and I was just kind of reading through it. Loved it and devoured it, and then got the music and was thoroughly enjoying that. I was actually Sweeney Todd for Halloween before this movie came out, mind you. But
did you have like the skunk hair, or was it?
No, it was kind of the slick down barber look, but I had the pale complexion with the dark eyes.
Nice.
My wife was Mrs. Lovett. She was very kind to go along with me on that. But in regard to Tim Burton, no, I hadn't grown tired of him. In regard to Johnny Depp,
I totally was. I did not care about seeing this movie, and as soon as because I was like, oh, Johnny Depp with his accent that he can't get rid of. This movie won me over.
But Johnny Depp can't sing.
It's fine because that's his role, though.
It is.
He's kind of. It's like singing from the back of his throat.
Do that
almost.
again.
I'm not going to do it.
He's kind of like a pirate.
But it works for the role. I've never seen the musical, and I don't know how beautiful the singer actually is. But because he's so sinister, it works.
There are not many baritone leads out there, Kent, but Sweeney Todd was one that I was like, this guy can sing. He does it well. And then Johnny Depp comes in, he does this kind of raspy sing.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with Helena Bonham Carter. She had never sung before, and Mrs. Lovett is one of the most demanding female roles vocally.
I thought Helena Bonham Carter definitely looked the part, though.
And I have had...
Just on average, she always looks the part.
She always looks like the part of Mrs. Lovett, yeah.
Imagine, you remember Les Mis with Liam Neeson?
Oh, yeah, 1998?
Not a musical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what this is set up to be. Imagine, take out the music from this, and you just have, like, this is perfectly cast for a non-musical version of this story.
Agreed.
And so adding the music is, it's beautiful music. Stephen Sondheim, he's a genius.
I don't like most of his stuff. I like this.
I'm totally biased towards him.
But this is the only adaptation of his works that he approves of, by the way.
I think because the look is perfect.
Yeah.
The look is, it is absolutely perfect. And I don't know if it's just we got lucky because this is Tim Burton's thing, or maybe he's like really feeling what was going on. But this isn't, as far as musical movie adaptations go, I think this is a really strong one. They cut out everything that didn't need to be there. There's extra stuff in the show. Of course, a lot of these cut it out, but I think they pared it down perfectly for this one. I think the tone feels right. You know what? The singing is not that great. But
he said, I think it was Burton said, we're not out to make a Broadway show, we're out to make a movie.
Exactly. And so I think they very much succeed in that. And the way they filmed it, the actors don't feel dubbed because they actually sang when they were performing. And like they recorded it in a studio later, but it feels good.
The problem is they marketed this one. They didn't really mention it was a musical.
Oh, no. I saw people walk out when I was in theaters.
You did?
Yep. I saw this in theaters once, and I saw it twice.
Because the first thing you see is Johnny Depp on the boat, and he's like, there's no place like London. And I felt like a lot of people probably, because I knew it was a musical, but like when they did the trailer, it was the beautiful score, which is Sondheim and Elfman kind of mixed together. And then they don't really ever show Johnny Depp singing. And I think a lot of people were caught off guard by that.
All right. It's a tier 1.
Really?
I actually gave it a tier 2.
Wow. After all that?
No, because once again, I had my expectations of the musical here. And then Johnny Depp came in and that.
Oh, wow.
Once again, it's the same problem with Phantom. The main player, I was not sold in their singing role in the movie.
I get it.
And so it dropped it down.
Dang.
But I do own this one, and I do watch it almost every Halloween.
Zach?
It's a beautiful Stephen Sondheim show about a barber. It's tier 1. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Easy.
Bias show in there, buddy.
Funny, I was little 17-year-old Zach going to LDS seminary in my Sweeney Todd t-shirt. Just very inappropriate.
Hey, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir has sung Not While I'm Around. I have the recording.
Song. It's a beautiful song.
From Sweeney Todd.
It's not as good as Pretty Women, which is the best song in the show. But
Oh, man. That's an intense part.
Although, exactly. It's a sweet song with a tense moment.
But the funnest number is obviously a little priest.
Yeah, that's true.
Joanna's the best song.
Oh, okay. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun numbers, 2008's Mamma Mia.
Here we go again. Okay.
Not the sequel, actually.
This ran from 2001 to 2015, 5,773 performances. Not as much as Phantom, but wow, that's a lot. And the movie came out kind of in the middle of that, early stages of that.
So it's the story of a bride-to-be trying to find her real father, told using hit songs from the popular 1970s group ABBA.
Can we have an ABBA show, please?
I think that'd be fun.
I feel like this musical is a cheat.
Yeah, if I say notable songs, basically just look up ABBA's greatest hits album, and get like Dancing Queen, Take a Chance on Me, Waterloo, things like that.
Lay All Your Love on
you
Me.
mentioned
The winner takes it all.
You mentioned not liking certain performances. Pierce Brosnan is like the iconic bad performance, right?
Like Stellan Skarsgård did that much better.
Of course he didn't.
Fun fact: the cast members all did their own singing, for better or much
Pierce Brosnan
Good
was just
for
told,
them.
"Hey, do you want to be in a movie in Greece with Meryl Streep?" And he said yes. And then he was told that it was Mamma Mia. He's like, well, I'm here. I can't see anything other than Meryl Streep in overalls in this movie. I feel like they were all just kind of like, wear what you're wearing.
Meryl Streep did take opera lessons as a child, and she sang in a couple of the films.
Of course she
previously,
did.
like Death Becomes Her. She sings in that one.
Oh, yeah.
So, but this one, I don't know. It makes me mad because this is the biggest box office we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It's $615 million.
The second biggest movie in the UK after Avatar.
It's ridiculous. And this was the fifth highest grossing film of 2008. It was beat by The Dark Knight, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Kung Fu Panda, and Hancock. But it beat. This made more money than WALL-E and Iron Man.
Yeah. It came out the same day as The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I remember hating this movie for that, trying to be like this...
counter-programming,
Yeah, counter-programming. I hated it for a long time, but it's ABBA music.
It's ABBA music.
This is a tier 3 in my mind, but it's beautiful to watch.
It's ABBA music on a bad karaoke night.
Still,
they're having fun.
it's a tier 2.
Don't you dare!
It's
Why?
a tier 2. I'm sorry, I had it tier 3 for a while.
You traitor, get out of my face.
Well, Joel, I'm sorry to say, this is probably, of this list, I may have seen this the most of any movie.
That doesn't mean anything. You could have been made to watch it against your will.
It was on a lot at the time, and I'm going to give it a tier 2. I find it very
I hate
charming.
you both. You both kind of suck.
Your chance of staying on the show is slipping through Joel's fingers all the time.
And when give
me your faces to punch.
Nope.
So it's a tier 3 from you.
Tier
2
3
from us.
Tier 3.
It's ABBA music, though.
I'll listen to ABBA. I'm not going to watch Mamma Mia. This is one of those ones, like I said, this is one that probably looks... I want to see this one on stage.
Yeah.
But on screen, they're like doing the whole big movement.
But it's Grease, though.
Amanda Seyfried's eyes take up half the screen. Good heavens. This movie confused me and annoyed me.
Joel.
This movie confused me and annoyed me.
Christine Baranski?
She's fantastic.
She's great.
Almost everything she does.
Molly Weasley's in it. She's fine.
No.
Calling for Mr. Darcy's there.
That doesn't help, you moron.
James Bond. Oh, all right. Well, there we are. Now let's move over to 2012's Les Miserables.
Now, Les Mis is a powerhouse. It ran from 1987. The original Broadway one was from 1987 to 2003. 6,680 performances. Notable songs, Look Down. At the end of the day, I'm having a hardest time not singing that. I dreamed a dream. Who am I? Master of the house on my own. One day more, do you hear the people sing? I found a castle in a cloud. A little fall of rain. By the stars. Okay. Was that Sloth?
Just saying. Now, yeah, it's Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman. So your time is up and your promo's begun. You know what that means? Yes, it means I'm free.
Now, this is another one where they wanted
it.
They wanted the raw audio, so they had like the actors wear earpieces where they'd play a piano accompaniment, just the piano, so they could sing to the tune and rhythm. but they wanted him to record their actual voices, and that's why you get him like out of breath or like pausing.
Bad, I think is the word you're looking.
It's not polished.
It's
bad.
live.
It's bad.
Right.
I've seen live.
It is a choice, but it's live actors. These aren't the people who are at the 25th anniversary
with a camera 1 inch from your nose.
It's actually the fisheye lens that they use.
That's horrible
on this. But the production value outside of their faces is quite good.
I'd like you to sing that well when you're getting a haircut, Zach.
You'd cry right now.
They really cut Anne Hathaway's hair.
Yeah,
like she let them cut their hair.
By the way, fun fact: Anne Hathaway's mom played Fantine when it first came to Broadway in 1987.
That's cool.
Aw. This received.
I find that interesting.
Yeah. So just add one to the list.
This received 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Jackman. I got nominated for that as well, but only won 3: Best Sound Mixing, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, and Best Supporting Actress. Anne Hathaway won.
I think we were all disappointed when we saw this one because it's long, right? It's an investment.
158 minutes. And not that long.
The show was long.
The music is so good that when you see it performed by certain actors, and in certain it was a choice. The way this was filmed,
it
was
almost
a choice.
feels foolproof because you're like, oh, the notable songs are every single song that's in the show.
Yes,
I think the best song is "One Day More," or at least the medley
is so good.
It should be,
but it's
really
not
good because of this cast.
I think together it works out really well.
Captain Fish Lips.
And singing and crying. I only like
Eponine.
She's good because she's actually a singer. She actually plays the role.
Broadway play.
Of course not.
Red Black. You actually have Broadway talent. Aaron Tveit. That's awesome because you have somebody who can actually sing. Mm-hmm. Great. But
I rewatched this one today. Russell Crowe still not good. Not the worst offender of any movie musical.
He is not. He doesn't have the chops to sing it, but he acts it quite well.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, my unpopular opinion. Hugh Jackman
is the worst.
I think his emotional acting, fantastic. Mm-hmm. His singing, this was not his role.
Yeah. I agree.
I think that it is a case of miscasting as far as this is such a vocally demanding show.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Hugh Jackman's good. I think Russell Crowe's good. Eddie Redmayne's fine, but they can't sing it.
Having seen Bring Him Home on stage, it's amazing.
Yeah. I've seen Les Mis a couple times.
Hugh Jackman just doesn't nail it.
No, he's not Colm Wilkinson.
Because he's not is it a tenor role?
Yes.
I don't think he's a tenor.
He's not and it's a very sweet, role. Yeah. But at the same time, some of the most prominent people who've played this role are like country singers. Well, it's a different style.
Hugh Jackman, he was in Oklahoma. He was in this movie.
Boy
He's
from
in,
Oz.
Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman. Whenever he
also
gets,
not very good in Greatest Showman.
I think he's actually a very good singer, except for when he gets in the high notes. He does this weird kind of back of the throat thing.
From now on.
Yeah,
it's terrible. No, but he's
terrible. It's better than I can do.
He's so charismatic. I love Hugh Jackman. I just don't like when he sings.
I think he does good singing in other roles, but not in this one.
Yeah.
And I feel bad saying that because do we all agree Anne Hathaway nailed it though?
Yes.
Because hers
Zack.
Zack.
I'm just gonna not say anything.
Hers Fantine was really, really well done about like how I interpret Fantine to be.
I was really happy when I found out she was playing Fantine because I know how soon she goes away.
She's great in this movie. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I dreamed a dream. Zach was off the show.
There's going to be a soundtrack of just kicking Zach off the show.
No, everyone has their opinion. Even yours is wrong. But still, Kent, I gave this a tier 2.
It's a tier 2.
Okay.
Tier 3. I hate it.
You hate it?
Because your expectations for what it should be.
It's Les Mis. It's Les Mis.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy where Les Mis and Phantom being the two big players, as we know.
Yeah.
Right? They're the two most disappointing adaptations.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Is it because our expectations were too high?
Yeah.
Though?
Yeah.
Because they are so good when they're on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Now we have 2014's Into the Woods.
To grandmother's house!
Another Steven Sondheim.
The original Broadway one was from 1987 to 1989, only 765 performances.
A witch tasks a childless baker and his wife with procuring magical items from classical fairy tales to reverse the curse put on their family tree.
Did you know this is the first Disney movie that Meryl Streep was in?
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
It's kind of weird to think about.
Kent, I heard you moaning.
I hate this.
Wait. Notable songs.
Oh, yeah.
Into the Woods.
And Agony.
Yeah, those are the only two.
There's only two songs. And because Into the Woods plays 47 times in this.
Into the Woods.
I saw this one at the old Hale Center Theater in West Valley.
Yeah.
And hated every second.
Did you live with a theater person who loved it?
Yes.
I think that's a factor.
Go on.
I think there is this thing amongst theater people, especially women, who just adore this show and sing it. And, you know, if you say, I wish, they'll just go immediately into it and sing the whole thing. And
there are giants in the sky.
Wow. Good harmony, fellas.
Yeah, pretty good.
I get it.
Well,
and this show's
stomach it.
a little grating.
Well, the thing about Sondheim is it's very, you know, there's dissonance. There's not a lot of melody. Like it's kind of just, he's an acquired taste.
Right.
But they swung for the fences with this one by putting Emily Blunt, Meryl Streep, James Corden, Anna Kendrick, Chris Pine, Tracy Ullman.
James Corden doesn't get paid for movies. He just
Johnny
wants on
Depp.
set.
Yeah. Basically, they're just saying, we got this huge cast to do this. I've never been a fan of this play.
Yeah.
And the movie also didn't do any favors.
I'd rather get a giant sewing needle and stick it in one ear and out through the other.
Wow.
And have to hear that
That's
say
bold.
ever again.
That seems a little strong.
Even the Bernadette Peters one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Bernadette Peters.
She's great.
I don't really like this adaptation. I like Into the Woods, though.
Would you have liked
You like
it?
the humor of it. You like kind of like the
I like the cynicism.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
have liked it back in the 90s when they were originally going to put this as a movie and they had a reading with Robin Williams as the baker, Goldie Hawn as the baker's wife, Cher as the witch, Danny DeVito as the giant, Steve Martin as the wolf, and Roseanne as Jack's mother.
Danny DeVito's the giant.
That sounds awesome.
Roseanne.
I'd be cool with that. I'd watch that.
Was it going to be a musical because Roseanne singing?
I think it has to be a musical. How could you do this one not a musical?
Yeah. I think as far as like musical adaptations goes, this is a lovely movie. It's fine enough. But I do think the problem with it is it isn't funny enough. The stage show is actually quite funny. And this is
They do pull out a lot of the humor.
quite dour.
Yeah.
And
Chris Pine is great.
Chris Pine is great, and that the agony scene is a highlight.
Agony.
And in the stage production, they come back and sing another version,
Right?
Because they're not satisfied with their lives. They got what they wanted, they don't like it, so they sing it again. And it's like, I honestly wish this movie had that because I just want those guys to come back. That scene was hilarious.
Yeah, they chopped it down a bit, and I think they chopped out the wrong parts because I feel like this is the look of the movie is a lot of fun. Like the sets and the costumes, it's all very cool to look at. But I was unimpressed with the musical on stage. This didn't do any better. This is a tier 3.
Tier 3.
I'm gonna give it a tier. Oh yeah, it ended up being a tier 3.
Okay. Yay.
Yeah. And I'm a defender of the show, but I didn't really like this production. Though I will say, "No One Is Alone" I think is a lovely song, and also "Children Will Listen," a lovely song.
Except they don't.
Yeah. Okay.
My kids don't listen to me.
And we are finally to our final movie. My gosh, there are so many. This is
We have so many more, too, that we haven't done.
so many more. Well, this should be pretty quick. We very recently talked about this movie. It's 2021's In the Heights.
$96,000.
So I love Kent's version of this.
It's a ballad, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
$96,000. I wish I had not. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
The original Broadway run of In the Heights was from 2008 to 2011.
2005, though, when it
Broadway
started.
run.
Sure.
Not when it started, but
Yeah.
this is the Broadway run. Yes, yes. Of course, I know.
Of
I know it
course you
started
should
in
know.
2005. 1,184 performances.
So Usnavi, a sympathetic New York bodega owner, saves every penny every day as he imagines and sings about a better life.
Doesn't get it. And then the other
Spoiler
songs
alert.
include In the Heights, $96,000, and Paciencia y Fe.
I like that's canon now.
Directed by John
It is.
Chu, who did Gem and the Holograms and Now You See Me Too.
It's 3/5 of a Snyder Cut.
It's 143 minutes, yeah.
So it's funny, like I badmouthed this one in the review saying it's so long. And then look at some of these musicals we've talked about. This is 2 hours, 23 minutes. That's less than some of the classics
Yeah.
that we mentioned.
I think
For a modern musical,
the
it feels
pacing,
long.
the pacing feels long, but I think it's because it's such a, I don't want to say frenetic, but it is a very snappy movie.
Yeah.
Yet it somehow doesn't move at a snappy pace.
Well, and they were originally going to do this movie back in 2008. And Kenny Ortega was supposed to direct it. He did Newsies
And High School Musical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very popular.
Blech.
We talked about this already. I was underwhelmed with this movie. I don't think it was bad.
Really enjoyable, just nothing stood out for me.
Yeah. I'm giving it a tier 3 only because it hasn't stood the test of time yet.
It's high tier 3.
That's not a thing.
It's high tier 3. Zach, it's a high tier 3. I'm really sorry.
I give it a tier 2.
Okay.
You guys know I like it better than you
You
both.
put this as a tier 2.
But this is a tier 2. I like
When
it.
didn't you give Sound of Music tier 3?
Because I don't have problems with this. I don't have issues with this.
No, you just have issues.
That's true.
You're mad at Zach. It's time to end the show and be nice.
I'm trying to remember what he put at tier 3 that I'm mad at him about, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
There's
it was
something that I'm mad about.
Annie. It was Annie.
Annie.
Probably.
Yeah, I think this is enjoyable. And Problem that it has is it's not super
Dumb
memorable.
host, why are you giving it tier 3?
96,000 hosts now.
Yeah, we're never going to keep a host now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
we
true.
love you, Zach.
I think this is an enjoyable movie. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be
Test of time. I'm really curious about.
test of time. I think it'll slip away. All right. Well, good news, gentlemen. You have all correctly done your proportions. 6 tier 1, 6 tier 2.
Worried
6
about
tier
that.
3.
Yeah. So what do we agree on then?
We have 2 that we agreed on. One of them based on peer pressure. Officially,
Only 2?
the only one walking into the Bacon Cave today was Fiddler on the Roof, which makes sense. I was Fiddler on the Roof. And then you guys talked to me correctly, I should add. I feel good about it, into making Sound of Music a tier 1 as well. We gave the lowest scoring to Into the Woods. We all gave it a tier 3. That was the only one that we all gave tier 3.
Accurate.
Makes sense.
Yes.
So there we go. Let us know if you agree with our rankings or if you don't and you're wrong. Let us know on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We are there to listen to you, but also keep in mind we're giving 6 tier 1s, 6 tier 2s, and 6 tier 3s.
With more movies to come.
Yes, we have a whole other section that we were going to get to, but we still may have missed some. So let us know if there are ones that we didn't include that you think we should include that were stage productions that then became movies. That's what we're looking for the second round of this. We'll get to the other ones later.
Can we talk about Camelot?
And cats?
We will.
Cats.
Yeah,
Cats.
we will. But before we go, we'd like to give some love to our patrons.
You sound angry right now.
I'm full of emotion.
I'm
I'm dancing.
It's just emotion. It's not anger.
I'm dancing. I'm full
but
of
this
emotion.
includes Sean Sanquist, Plot Twist Media, Lady Terry A. Findley, Just Plain Old Kyler, Jennifer Kukowski, Glowclin Daniel, Chris Trout, Braden Winterton, Babs, Allison Gall, Alicia Bass, Adrian Gray, and Adam and Rachel Crump. And then we have the Bacon Council, who we just had dinner with, which includes The Shadow, Stephen Ross, Ryan and Marley Farron, our favorite couple, the Madsons, Nicole D. Kale, Go Knights Go, Matts, Chris Anderson, Her Royal Highness Jessica Terry, and Reverse Listener. Thank you, patrons. We appreciate your support.
Thank you.
You are the orchestra pit to our podcast.
Why'd you just call him a pit?
Because
the pits.
Because musicals could not exist without the orchestra pit.
This is where
Props to them.
this is where we point to them.
Yes, we point to them, hands down at the stage. But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter. You can find me performing with Quickwits. They're performing live on stage again. Woo-hoo! For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews at ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Tumbling Mustard. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale on social media. Go to that Facebook page and click like, and then also swing by the Twitter and Instagram at Baconsale and join in on the fun over there. And while you're doing that, stop by tpublic.com/Baconsale. Get yourself some merch. I feel like there's some new stuff on the way. We should put some new stuff up there.
Yeah, we should.
It should be fun. And if you like what's going on Baconsale and want to support us further, first of all, listening is enough. Telling your friends is enough. But if you want to go that extra step, stop by patreon.com/Baconsale, where support starts at just $3 a month, and you can get some fun perks, including the mostly weekly Bacon Bits, where we talk about a lot of stuff. Personal things.
Personal
things. I tell you what's been going on with me, and then Kent tells a dating story.
Yeah, with Zack and Kent's girlfriend.
You don't want to know. Patreon.com/Baconsale.
So until next time, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Do 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 do.
If your emotions become too big for your barbecue, then you need to punch a torpedo. Mother! Oklahoma! Oh, Tooele.
You forgot the quote. Is that a unit of measurement?
3/5 of a Snyder Cut.
So a perfect measurement. And Jimmy's friends are talking about zero population. If you're going to show that kind of aggression, sing it. Is that your ugly cry?
Yeah.
Oh, knock it off. Another C- musical.
Shared musical universe. Joel, you stupid idiot.
Be nice to yourself.
Stop being an idiot.
Love yourself.
Why are you slowing down the show by looking up something that's not important right now? Start singing, Liesel! Go!
Christopher Plummer's a hottie. She had no more talent than a butterfly's fart. This movie.
Goodbye, Zachary. We're starting to sing because we're angry again. I don't know. I kind of like people hating Zach.
It reminds me of her, and I like her better than you guys.
6 8 of a Snyder Cut. Yada, 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 yada. It's kind of a convenient name. And apply them to Topol's eyebrows. I can say it. I can get away with it. I got Jewish bias.
L'chaim! And so cute. Oh, I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it. Oh, whoa, grease lightning. Whoa.
Wait, what does it mean?
No.
It has Lorenzo Lamas in it, Zach.
Oh.
Chipmunks lied to me.
Did you believe everything the chipmunks have told you?
Chipmunks lied to me.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, a new host tomorrow. I think I was a dumb kid.
Give it tier 3 or I'll slap you.
Alphabetical, Zach.
Alphabetical, then. Fine.
Oh, speaking of
In
dour,
case, Zach, in case the date is the year of the release is the same, we go with alphabetical.
It's bubblegum that has like a rose's thorn in it of racism.
Geographical lies make me angry, so I'm gonna lecture you. Yeah, we cured racism.
tell me lies, geographical lies.
Oh, that'll
He's kind of
He's kind of like a pirate. I can't see anything other than Meryl Streep in overalls. By the stars.
Zach.
I'm just going to not say anything.
I dreamed a dream. Zach was off the show.
And
There are giants in the sky. I'd rather get a giant sewing needle and stick it in one ear and out through the other.
Go now, and leave me.